Today we will do chapter 2 of First Flight, Nelson Mandela. Okay, it's an extract taken from Long Walk to Freedom. Okay, written by Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. It's an autobiography. He has written about his experience when he became first president of South Africa in 1994. At that time, what was his feeling? He has expressed all in this lesson. Okay. Now, first, let us know about who was Nelson Mandela. He was chosen as the first president of South Africa in 1994. He belonged to a Thamba royal family and was also known as Madiba. Okay, and he served prison for 27 years for abolition of apartheid. It was a practice which was done in South Africa at that time. It's about racial discrimination on the basis of the color of the skin. So there, what happened in South Africa, white people, they ruled over the black. So black people were not given the equal rights. They were suppressed by the white people. And there, he was also known in South Africa. Nelson Mandela is known as Father of Nation. Okay, as in our India, Father of Nation is Mahatma Gandhi ji. So they are same, like he is for the people of South Africa. He is known as Father of Nation because he made the people free from apartheid, where social discrimination was made. Racial discrimination was made. So this is a chapter. Let's read about the chapter. See the first page. 10th May, drawn bright and clear. 10th May, this is date because he took his oath as a president of USA on 10 May 1994. Okay, so he's talking on that day when he was taking oath. How did he feel at that time? 10th May dawned bright and clear. It was a clear day, a bright day. For the past few days, I had been pleasantly besieged by dignitaries. Besieged here refer to be surrounded by the dignitaries, by the people, the world leaders who were coming to pay their respect before inauguration. Okay, so here he's saying, because it was many days, so it was the first experience of the black people that they were elected. They were going to be rule over the country. So all over the dignitaries from all over the world, they came there to welcome him on this occasion. So they were coming to pay their respect before the inauguration. And when the inauguration would be the largest gathering ever of international leaders on South African soil. See what he is saying. He's saying that it was the first type of gathering, first of its type of gathering, where a large number of people from all around the world have gathered on the soil of this South Africa. Why? Because till now there was racial discrimination. So what has other countries, they have broken, many countries, they have broken their relations with the country, but now most of the countries, they are coming back to the soil of South Africa because the scenario has changed now. The ceremonies took place in lovely sandstone amphitheater. This word, check out. Amphitheater means an open air theater. So this ceremony was held in amphitheater formed by Union Building in Pretoria. For decades, this had been the seat of white supremacy. One decade consists of 10 years. So, and for number of decades, this country was ruled by the white people. White supremacy by the white people. And now it was the site of a rainbow gathering of different colors and nations for installation of South Africa's first democratic known social government. And now he's saying, now this is the first experience South Africa is having now. The first democratic country he has become, first democratic government was made on this day and it was a happy moment for all. So this is how he has started giving experience. Now come on the next page. On the lovely autumn day, I was accompanied by my daughter Zinani. Okay, so let's see now. He's telling how he was feeling on that day. So he's saying on this day, first day, he when he came there, so his daughter was there, Zinani was there on the podium. Podium is stage. So on the stage, Mr. Dila Clark was the first sworn in as second deputy president. Okay, these were the persons who were first they took oath before him. So who this is a deputy president, Mr. Clark, and then who took the oath? Thombo Becky was sworn as the first deputy president. And when his turn came, now he's saying his turn is when Nelson Mandela's turn came to pledge, I pledge to obey and uphold the constitution and to devote myself to the well-being of Republic and its people. He's saying I took my oath and took that I will be serving wholeheartedly to the people, to the Republic, to without any discrimination to everyone. To the assembled guest and watching world, I said, today all of us do, by our presence here, confer. Confer means giving. Confer, give glory and hope to newborn liberty. Liberty is freedom. Now he's saying he's making the oath that I will be serving the country and the whole world will see that how we will make our country glorify, how a new liberty, new freedom will come, and how we all are going to make this history for all. Out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long must be born in society of which all humanity will be proud. So he's saying that this though we have experienced experience of extraordinary human disaster, that till now we were there was injustice done with the black people, and that lasted too long. It was for long time. So all has ended now, and now a new society will be born where all the humanity will be proud, no injustice will be there, equal rights will be there, and country will prosper. So come to the next slide. Now we come. Now we who were outlaws not so long ago, now have today been given the rare privilege to be host to the nations of the world on our own soil. See how he's telling his experience. He's saying till now what happened? We were outlaws. We were not included in the law. We were not given the equal rights. But now we have got the rare privilege. We have got that right. Now we can serve to the nations, not only to the nation, all of the world, nations of the world on our own soil. Now everyone to be host to nations of the world of on our own. Now every country is now there. Most of the people, the dignitaries who have come there, they are viewing this scene that now we are there. Their equal rights are there for all, and will be serving to the country in a perfect manner. We thank all our distinguished international guests for having come to take position with the people of the country of what is, after all, a common victory for justice, for peace, for humanity, human dignity. Okay, so now he's saying now everyone will be happy, will be having equal peace, and justice will be there on this soil. No discrimination will be there. We have at last achieved our political emancipation. So now he's saying that now we have got the political freedom. We have got the political freedom now. We pledge ourselves to liberate our people from continuing bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, gender, and other discrimination. Now he's saying, I pledge on this day that I will liberate, I will free all my people from all the bondage of this poverty, deprivation, deprived of the rights, suffering for gender, and other discriminations. Whatever were done till now on the soil of South Africa will not be there. Never, never again shall it, that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. Now he's saying, what he's saying, that now this will never happen, that one race of the people will overpower the other. No, equal rights will be given to everyone, and the sun shall never be on so glorious a human achievement. Let freedom reign. God bless Africa. So what he's saying, that now a glorified history the world will see here on this land, land will be soon. A new history will be soon, and freedom will be there for everyone. Everyone will be living happily on this country, on the land of this country. Next slide. A few moments later, we all lifted our eyes in with surprise as a spectacle arrays in an impressive way. Array of let's see, let me mark here, helicopters. So what happened? So now the helicopters and all, they were there, and they were paying their respect to the president, to the elected people of the country. So how they were doing this in a perfect manner, they were displaying their happiness. Of South African jets, helicopters, troops, carriers rode in the perfect formation over the Union buildings. It was not only a display of pinpoint precision and military force, but a demonstration of military loyalty to democracy, to a new government that had been freely and fairly elected. Okay, so now he's saying, now we can see that the jets were there to pay their respect to the new government which was elected freely and fairly, who were elected by the people of the this democratic country now. So now everyone was paying respect to them. The military was paying respect to them. Only moment before, the highest general of South Africa Defence Force and Police, their chests bedecked with ribbons, medals from days gone by, saluted me, pledged their loyalty. So it was a great matter of pride for him. He's saying now whoever was there, maybe the white people were, because mostly in good posts the white people served. So they were there to pledge him, to salute him, and it was the happiest moment for Mr. Nelson Mandela. I was not mindful of the fact that so many years before they would not have saluted but arrested me. See, because this is a day when freedom is there for everyone. So he's saying now they are saluting me, but if some days ago, if I talk about, they would not have saluted because I was a black people, so they would have arrested me. But now the scenario has changed. Finally, a chevron. Chevron of Impala jets. Chevron here refers to a zigzag pattern in shape of V, like that. Zigzag pattern in shape of V. So all the jets, they make a zigzag way in the sky to pay respect to the newly elected president and other people, other dignitaries. So finally, chevron of Impala jets left a smoke trail of the black, red, green, blue and gold of new South Africa flag. And what they were doing, they are like South Africa flag. It was having many colors: black, red, blue and gold. So all the jets which were flying in the sky, so they were leaving different colors there, so which was giving an impression of the flag of the country. So this was the scene when he took the oath. Next slide now. The day was symbolized for me by playing of our two national anthems and vision of white singing Kosi Sikelel E Africa and black singing Die Stem, the old anthem of Republic. Now see how the scenario has changed. He's saying till now only white people ruled over the country, so one anthem was sung. But now no, not when blacks are elected, not only one of the black ones, but both the races. National anthem of both the races was sung. So it was sung and everyone participated in that. Okay. national anthem of, this was of white people, and another was one of the black people. So two anthems were sung on that day. Although that day neither group knew the lyrics of anthem they once despite hated, disliked, they would soon know the words by heart. Now see, although that day neither group knew the lyrics, neither group means white people were there, black people, all were there. So all were singing the national anthem. So national anthem was being sung, he's saying, and though the white people did not know the meaning of the black ones national anthem, and black ones did not know the meaning of the white people's anthem, national anthem, but they were singing. Now soon he's saying that because the dislike has gone now, and soon everyone will be singing it by heart, they will be learning the words also. This scene will be created soon in the coming days. On the day of inauguration, I was overwhelmed with a sense of history. See, I was feeling excited over a sense of history I was feeling while standing there in the first decade of 20th century. In the first decade 20th, it was 20th century going on. So first decade is talking about 1900 to 1910 he's talking about. So a few days later, after the bitter Anglo-Boer War and before my own birth, the white-skinned people of South Africa patched up their difference, erected a system of racial domination against the dark-skinned people of their own land. The structure they created formed the basis of the harshest and most inhumane societies of the world has ever known. So it was in the first decade, because there was a war, Anglo-Boer War was fought. So he's saying after that war only, so this social discrimination also started there in the country during that decade. So it continued in that century, and people were discriminated after that. Now the last decade of the 20th century, let me tell you, last decade here he's talking about. This is last decade of the 20th century. Last decade is going on now because he became president in 1994. So last decade will be, last 10 years will be 1990 to 2000. Okay, so this is last decade he's talking about. So now last decade of 20th century, he's saying, on my eighth decade as a man, and the system had been overturned forever, the replaced by one recognized rights, freedom of all people regardless of color of their skin. Now because it is 1994 it was when they got the freedom. So he's saying this is last decade that now we are given freedom, everyone is given freedom, they have equal rights regardless of color of their skin. Doesn't matter whether they are the white people or black people, they have equal rights now. The day had come about through the unimaginable sacrifices of thousands of my people whose suffering and courage can never be counted or repaid. I felt that day, as I have so many other days, that I was simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before me. Now, what he is talking about? He is reminding of all his patriotic people, because this soil has experienced a lot of sacrifices by the thousands of people whose suffering courage can never be counted repaid. He's saying thousands of people before me, they tried to bring a change on this soil, but they could not experience this moment which I am facing. I felt that day, I have so many days, other days, that I was simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before me. And that long noble line ended, now began again with me. I was pained that I was not able to thank them, and that they were not able to see that their sacrifices had wrought. Okay, so now what he's feeling wrought here. First, wrought, this word you can see, wrought means something achieved, done or achieved. Okay, achieved. Now what he is saying, He's saying that I'm feeling bad for those people who sacrifice because they are not there to welcome to this freedom of the country. I am on their behalf. I welcome them, I respect them, and I am here paying a tribute to their sacrifices. Then now our country is free. Now, the policy of the apartheid. Okay, a policy of the apartheid. I told apartheid. What is apartheid? Apartheid is social discrimination, racial discrimination on the basis of color and on the basis of color. So because there was a practice of apartheid in the country, so what happened, it created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. So he's saying this policy of apartheid, this racial discrimination has created or has injured the heart of my people. All of us will spend many years, if not generations, recovering from that profound hurt. I'm saying we'll spend, because we will not be able to come out of that deep injury so quickly. It will take time, but decades of oppression and brutality had another unintended effect, and that was that it produced Oliver Tambo's and the Walter Sisselus, the Chief Little's, the Yusuf Dadus, the Bram Fishers, the Robert Sobequis of our time. Whom he is talking about? He's talking these people he is naming here. These all people he is recalling, the people who sacrificed, the freedom fighters of his country. So these men were of extraordinary courage. He's saying they were extraordinary people who fought for the country. Okay, wisdom. They were the people of extraordinary courage, wisdom, generosity, and their like may never be known again. He's saying they were such people who fought for the country, and such people will never may be born again in the country, who did for the welfare of the country, who gave their lives even. Perhaps it required such depth of oppression to create such height of character. Saying now it will take time. So such height of character to make such height of character to create, it will need a lot of sacrifices. My country is rich in minerals, gems, and lie beneath in its soil. He's saying my country is rich in minerals and gems. It is known for that. But I have always known that its greatest wealth is people. He's saying not the wealth is not those minerals and gems which are found in the under the soil, but the gems are real people of this country. They are finer, truer than purest diamonds. He's saying these people of country, for me they are purest than the diamonds. They are valuable for me. I will welcome them all on this day of freedom and will serve them wholeheartedly. This is the oath he is taking. It is from these comrades in the struggle that I learned the meaning of courage. He's saying because this struggle, these freedom fighters who struggle a lot, I learned the meaning of courage from these people. Time and again I have seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. I have never seen men stand up to attack, torture without breaking, showing a strength, resilience that defies the imagination. So resilience here, let me tell this word if you can see. Resilience, this word, it means ability to deal with hardship. Okay, so he's talking that defies the imagination. He's saying I have seen men that how the torture without how they were tortured, and they were tortured without breaking. They show such a courage that they faced all sort of resilience. They fought against all sort of odds. They do not feel any sort of failure. They tried and tried to get the freedom of the country. So this courage I learned from those people. I learned that the courage was not absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but who conquers the fear. He's saying brave man is not that he doesn't feel afraid, but actually who conquers the fear of anything. So here he's saying brave people are those who never feel afraid of anything. No one is born hating each other person because of color of the skin on or his background or religion. He's saying no one has a right to hate each other on the basis of their skin or their background or social background or their religion. People must learn to hate. If they can learn to hate, they can learn to love also. So what he's saying, see his philosophy here, people must learn to hate. If they can learn, he's saying people do not learn by birth. Hate is not they learn by birth. They are taught to hate from each other. So if they are taught to hate, they can learn the love also. They can be taught. For love comes from naturally to human heart, then it's opposite. He's saying it is not natural, but love is a natural phenomena which comes from by heart. By both we love, we start loving our mother's nature. But now he's saying the same qualities are to be inculcated in the people. Even in the grimmest times in prison, when my comrades and I were pushed in our limits, I would see, he's saying, now he's talking about his time when he was in jail, and grimmest is toughest time when he was in prison. Other people were also there. So he's saying we were reminded of our limits. We were reminded of our limits to remain behind the bars. I would see a glimmer of humanity in one of the guards. There they were treated badly, but whenever he saw any sympathy, any sign of sympathy in any one of the guard in the jail, so perhaps just for a second, but it was enough to reassure me, keep me going. So that small sympathy shown by that guard showed me that no, there is goodness is still there. So that gave me strength, and I made up my mind I will be fighting for the freedom's sake again. Man's goodness is a flame. I got the strength from there, he's saying. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. Goodness is a flame, like a flame. Its goodness is like a flame. It cannot be extinguished. You can't suppress it. It remains in the hearts. So it cannot be suppressed. In life, every man has twin obligations. Now he's talking about the duty of the people. He's saying we have two obligations. Obligation to family, to his parent, wife, children. Okay, one obligation is duty. So one duty is towards his family, parents and children, whoever are in the family. Another obligation is to his people, his community, his country. Another duty is for the country. In a civil and human society, each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclinations and abilities. So inclination here refer to, just a moment, inclination. You can see this word inclination means behavior of the people. He's saying so this country, every country, each people feel like that they have two duties towards family and towards the country. So this is, but in country like South Africa, it was different. It was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color to fulfill both of those obligations. We're saying it was, for us it was impossible in South Africa to pay our duty to family or to the country, because we were not allowed for that. In South Africa, a man of color who attempted to live as a human being was punished and isolated. So isolated, kept separated. In South Africa, what happened? A man of color, the black people who try to live a free life as a human, if they are trying to live, so they were punished for that, because they had freedom. They were not given the right of freedom. They were not given any right. They were not given any proper job, proper place in the government, or none. No place was given to these people in the society. In South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to people was inevitably ripped. Inevitably means unavoidably. They were ripped from his family and his home, and was forced to live a life apart, a twilight existence of secrecy and rebellion. He's saying if those in South Africa, if any person who tried to live a life for his people, also for family also, what was done with them? So they were taken apart, they were forced to live a life apart, so they were imprisoned, they were thought to be as rebellion people, they were kept in prisons, they were not had they did not have that right to fight for the people. I did not in the beginning chose to place my people above my family. So now he's telling about from childhood how this feeling came in him. So he's saying in the beginning, I chose to people above my family. Naturally, for a child, family is everything. Okay, but in for a child, so if, as a child, for family was the world for him. In attempting to serve my people, I found that I was pretended from fulfilling my obligation as a son, brother, father, and husband. So he's saying when I started serving the people, so then I felt that I was uh, stopped by, there was such system that I was stopped to serve my family then as a father, brother, and a husband. If I serve the people, could not serve my family. So this was the scene there. I was not born with a hunger to be free. I was born free, free in every way, and that I could know. Free to run in the fields near my mother's hut, free to win in the clear stream that ran through my village, free to roast millies under the stars, ride the broad backs of slow moving bulls. I think when I was a child, I was free. I felt that freedom is to move freely in the fields and move here to there, in my heart, outside my heart, in the village. So this was freedom for me. I did not know actual meaning of the freedom. As long as I obeyed my father, abided by the customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man or God. Till I was with the family, no trouble was given by the law of the man, the rules made by the man or God. No trouble was given to till I was with my family near my house or in the village. It was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion. Okay, let me tell you. Okay, you can see this word, freedom was an illusion. Till now he thought this is freedom. Okay, but then he slowly, when he grown up, he felt that it was an illusion. Illusion means something which appears to be real, but actually it is not real, fake. When I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me, and that I began to hunger for it. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself, and the transitory freedom. Transitory is which is something which is temporary, for a short time. Freedom of being able to stay out at night, read and I pleased, and go where I chose. So now he's saying it was an illusion. Slowly I came to know that when I was with my family, and I thought that I was free. Okay, but actually this freedom was only for myself. I was free up to that level only. Okay, not out of that boundaries, nothing was allowed for me. So this was a temporary freedom for me. I did not know that in my childhood, but later as a young man in Johannesburg. So when he went to Johannesburg as a young man, so there I yearned for basic and honorable freedom of achieving my potential, of earning my keep. So there also he's saying I wanted to do work according to my potential, my caliber. I wanted to keep my money, earn money. I wanted to marry and have a family, the freedom not to be obstructed in a lawful life. Till now it was okay, he's saying. If I wanted to do something there, but now in Johannesburg a feeling came in me that when I wanted to have everything of my own choice, but now it was something, obstruction was there. Till now no obstruction was there. Okay, but now when I wanted out of the boundaries, I came. I wanted to earn, I wanted to live a free life everywhere, but no, I realized no, there was some problem. But then I slowly saw that not only was I not free, but my brothers, sisters were also not free. So what he's saying, that then slowly a realization came in me that not only my brothers, sisters, all were not free. So no one was free. No one, my family, no one, the people of my race, no one was free. So slowly this feeling came in. I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did. Who looked like I did means the black people. Slowly, this realization came in him that it was that freedom was reduced, curtailed is reduced of all the people who looked like me, who were the black people. So this slowly he's saying I realized. That is when I joined the African National Congress, and that is when the hunger of my freedom became greater hunger for the freedom of people. So now when this realization came, so this hunger of freedom, it was not for me, it was for the people of the country. I joined politics, African National Congress, and I started fighting for the rights of the black people. It was his desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity, self-respect, and animated my life that transformed a frightened young man into a bold one. See, now he's saying then a transformation came. What transformation came? That frightened young boy now became a bold one when I started fighting for the freedom, and drove a law-abiding, till now I was a law-abiding attorney, to become a criminal. I was following the rules honestly, but now they have made me a criminal and turned a family loving. I was a family loving. I wanted to become a family loving husband, but they turned me without home, because I was I was fighting for the freedom, so I was separated from my home and forced to love. I was a life loving man. I loved life, but now I was living like a monk, like nothing was mine, only freedom I was struggling for them. So I am no more virtuous or self-sacrificing than the next man, but I found that I could even enjoy the poor and limited freedoms I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. So he's saying I was not a separated man from other people. I was just like them. But because I had a feeling that till my people were free, I was also not free. So freedom indivisible. The chains on any one of my people were the chains on all of them. Chains on of all the people were the chains on me. Now this is he's saying I felt like that if my people were not free, so I was not also free. So if they were the bondage of, they were the slaves, I was also slaves. So this feeling came in me. So I started fighting from that day, that one day I have to struggle hard, I have to bring freedom in my country. So now I knew the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as oppressed. Now see what his message he is giving. He's saying that the oppressor must be liberated just as oppressed. Oppressed are the, here he's talking about the black people, and oppressed ones, and oppressors are the white people, the people who ruled over the other. He's saying it doesn't that freedom should not be liberty should not be given only to the oppressed people who are being slaved, but a mindset is to be free of the oppressors also, because they have the wrong mentality. They make the people slaves, so they are also to be free from that sort of mentality. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. So he's saying the man who take the other man freedom, so they themselves, they hate the humanity, so they are the prisoners of hatred. So they are to be free from this type of hatred, from this type of mentality of theirs. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice. Let me tell you the meaning first. If you can see this word prejudice is, now it means disliking without reason. Saying the people, they are locked behind such bars that they hate the people, they hate the humanity, they hate the other people without any reason. And they are narrow-mindedness, they are narrow-minded because they are hating to each other without any reasons, just on the basis of the skin. I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom. Actually, if I am making other person slave, so I am not a free man. I am also a prisoner of hatred. So these sort of people are also to be freed. Just as surely I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. Oppressed and the oppressor like are robbed of their humanity. So both the oppressed ones oppressors who ruled over and those who are under them. So both are taken, both humanity is taken if they are doing this. So both are to be liberated. Okay, this is a chapter. Hope you have understood. We'll do the question answers. I will send you and you practice on that. If you have any doubt, you may ask me.